my garden, absolutely nothing goes to waste. I had some timber left over from another job, and I've got this sunny spot on the driveway which I've been eyeballing forever. So today I'm going to put the two together and I'm going to make a sweet little spot for growing strawberries. I want to make a stackable, relocatable strawberry tower. The planks simply lock together with notches at each end cut to the width of the timber. Each tier is a little smaller than the one below so that they just sit one on top of the other. I'm using some geo-textile fabric to line the base layer. This will stop the soil washing out. Strawberries are hungry plants, so I've made up a really rich mix here to grow them in. I'm using premium potting mix as the base, so it'll drain really freely, but I've amended it with some cow manure, a bit of my own homemade compost, some worm castings and some coir peat to try and hold a little bit more moisture. The one thing that you shouldn't use with them is anything that is quite alkaline. They like an acidic soil, so avoid mushroom compost or chicken manure and you should be right. This is a generous amount of soil for a small number of strawberries. Fill it in from the sides first, which means you'll pin that fabric up against the edge and then shovel in the centre. The second tier is slightly smaller than the base layer, which means it stacks right on top. Now, the beauty of a system like this is you can use it any way you like. You can stack these in different shapes. You could even use a long piece and then one of the shorter boxes to make a rectangular planter. They're really versatile. So I just need to fill this second layer with the same mix as the first. For the third tier, it's easy. It's the same as the first two. Strawberries are also quite thirsty plants. For good quality fruit, you need really consistent moisture. So in this smallest top level, I'm going to put in a little trick. This is a handmade terracotta oya. And what happens is you bury it in the soil and then you fill it with water, and the water can just seep out into the surrounding soil through the day. And then fill around it. Now, before we get to the really fun part, the planting, a little botanical lesson. Now, a lot of people call this a berry, a strawberry, but in fact, a botanical berry carries its seed on the inside. You can see they've got their seeds on the outside, and what we actually eat is a swollen receptacle. It's a part of the flower stem. It doesn't really matter what you call them, they are delicious. And I've got some of the most delicious varieties to plant today. The first variety I'm going to plant is one called Cambridge Rival, which is renowned to be one of the very sweetest. It's quite an old-fashioned variety. And like many productive plants, its flowering and fruiting, its growth is affected by day length, or the length of the night. And it comes into flower and fruit for quite a short period as those days get longer in late spring. It is well worth that short season. Alongside, I'm going to put some other seasonal varieties because I want to make sure I extend that harvest. Like so many other productive crops, strawberries have been bred and cultivated over the years to improve certain characteristics, and many of the modern hybrids aren't affected really by day length at all. They'll continue to flower and fruit right through the warmer months. It does mean that they exhaust themselves, so as plants they do need to be replaced every couple of years, but they are really productive. I'm planting a couple. I've got Adina, which is an old favourite, and then Melba, which is a new one on the market. And last but not least, a couple of wild strawberries. They produce tiny berries, but they are packed with flavour. And as always, when I plant food plants, I have to plant a few flowers. This one's a fail-safe ALYSSUM. It's full of nectar. You can actually smell it, which means it attracts all of those pollinating insects, as well as the predators of any pests. And of course, some mulch. You could use straw, but in this case, I'm using some pine needles. These continue to break down and acidify the soil, which strawberries love. to give this little garden bed lots of attention over the coming months. I'm going to give it plenty of water and every now and then a good old liquid feed. I reckon that I'm going to get great crops out of this, because who wants a single strawberry? You want a bowlful. I reckon this is a sweet use of this little space.